Yes, sir.
मास वेट कंप्लीट कर लिया था हमने. लेट्स स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, दैट इज थ्रस्ट एंड प्रेशर. ठीक है. So now let's start with the pressure topic. So, ठीक है. So what is pressure basically? So pressure is the force acting acting perpendicular on a unit area of the object, right? And the formula of the pressure is force upon area. Please do switch on your camera, everyone. Do it fast. Anam, Afreen, Rayan, Bharti, Sara. Afreen, how are you now? कैसी तबीयत अब?
Sir, good.
चलो बढ़िया है. जल्दी से कैमरा ऑन करो. ठीक है. Okay, so the next thing is the SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square or Pascal. So if Newton per meter square is written or Pascal is written, both are right. Okay. So the same force can produce different pressures depending on the area of the object. Okay. Over which it is acting. Okay. So if the pressure, okay. Now let's talk about the factors. So the first factor is the force. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Okay, after. Okay. Okay, so the force acting on the area of the object is directly proportional to the force. Okay, so pressure is directly proportional to the force. That means if you increase the force, the pressure is going to increase. Okay, next is the pressure is inversely proportional to the area of the object. Okay, okay, so when a force acts over a large area of an object, the pressure produced is less. But if the same force is acting on a small area, that it will produce a large pressure. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is a simple question in which we have to find the pressure. That 100 by 2 would be, sorry, 50 Pascal would be the pressure exerted on the area. Okay. Try to solve this one and do let me know the answer fast. Okay. Rayan, again calculation mistake. Bharti, Sara, Anam, answer.
I think my answer is it's actually, I think it's really wrong.
Please do let me know then. No issues. It's right, Anam. Okay. The answer would be 5 into 10 to the power 6 pascals. Okay. So this is one more question. Do the first part only. Okay, Bharti. Okay, you have to do only first part. Okay, don't do second one. Just do the first part. Both are same actually. The dimensions are changed only. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है ना, ठीक है भारती. चलो देखो. The answer would be 320 pascals. ठीक है. Okay, now let's talk about the thrust. So what do you mean by thrust? So thrust is basically the force acting on the body perpendicular to its surface. So okay. Okay, so the thrust is a total force acting on the surface of the body, and thrust per unit area is also called pressure. Okay, so in place of force, we can also use thrust. In most of the cases, the force that we will be using is nothing but the thrust, the perpendicular force that is acting on the surface. Okay, now let's talk about the explanations of some everyday observations on the basis of pressure. So the first is a school bag has wider strap due to reduce the pressure, because the wider strap means greater the area, so less pressure will be basically exerted on the shoulders, so hence it would be more comfortable to carry the bags, right? Next is a sharp knife can easily cut the vegetables or anything as compared to blunt knife. The reason is that the sharp knife has a very small area as compared to the blunt knife. Both have small area, but a sharp knife has a very small area. Okay, so that's why we can easily produce more pressure due to small area, hence the vegetable, butter, or anything can be cut easily. Okay. Next is the tip of a sewing needle. Sewing means सिलाई machine जो होती है आपकी. That sewing needle is basically very sharp, so that it can basically pass through the cloth without tearing it. Okay. So when a man is walking, then at one time only one foot is on the basically ground. So due to which the force, basically the weight of the man would be completely on its single foot basically. So that's why it would be. So in that case, the pressure would be more as compared to when man is standing. Okay. Because at that time both basically, so the man is standing it with the both feet. Okay. So that's why the less pressure would be exerted on the ground due to this larger area. The tractors have broad tires due to the basically because they produce less pressure on the ground, because the soil is very loose. Okay, and the soil is very loose. If we basically reduce the area, the pressure exerted would be very high. Okay, that's why it is made broader tires as compared to cars, cycles, bicycles. Okay, clear all of you?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Good. So this is all about thrust and pressure. Now let's talk about the buoyancy. So basically, there is an upthrust or upward force exerted by the water when the body is submerged into it. That is called buoyant force. Okay. So the tendency of a liquid to exert an upward force on an object placed in it is called buoyancy. And the force that is acting on the body is called buoyant force. Okay. So when the body is submerged in the water, it appears less heavy. It means that the weight is reduced as compared to the actual weight due to the upthrust or the upward force acting on it. So it will cancel some of the basically some magnitude of the weight. So that's why the object appears less heavy. Next is it is the buoyant force which makes the object heavy, make heavy object seems lighter in the water. You must have seen that a person can easily float in the water even though the mass of the person is very high, right? Suppose 60 kg, 70 kg, but still it can float. The reason is that buoyant force. Okay. Next is the pressure exerted by the liquid increases with depth and acts in all the directions. So if you go in depth, the pressure or basically the buoyant force will also increase. Okay. So now let's talk about the factors which affect the buoyant force. The first is the volume of the object immersed in liquid. It means that okay, and next is as the volume of the object immersed in the liquid increases, the upthrust buoyant force also increases. The more you basically submerge the object into the water, the more will be the upward force. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next is the buoyant force acting on the solid object does not depend on the nature of the solid object. It doesn't matter, is it wood, is it metal, is it stone or something like it. Doesn't matter. Only thing matters is the volume. If suppose that two materials are taken, wood and steel, both have the same volume. So the buoyant force would be same because it depends on the volume. Okay, doesn't matter from which material it is made. Next is density of the liquid. So the liquid with a higher density will exert more buoyant force on the body as compared to basically liquid having low density. Okay, so that's why it is easier to swim in the sea water as compared to any freshwater lake or any freshwater source like river or something like that, because the density is very less. Hence, the upthrust is not that much sufficient to swim. Okay, but in sea water it's easier to swim. Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलो. So इसमें theoretical part ही है, ज्यादा कुछ बचा नहीं है. ठीक है. Next is when an object is wholly or partially immersed in a liquid, it experiences a buoyant force which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the object. Okay, so that force is nothing but your buoyant force. So that weight that is displaced by that object is basically will be equal to the buoyant force acting on the body. So this is called Archimedes principle. Okay. So even gases exert upward force. So we are talking about liquid basically most of the time. The reason is that it is observable, but the buoyant force in the gases are not observable that much. So that's why we usually ignore it. Okay. So what are the applications of Archimedes principle? So Archimedes principle can be used to determine the relative density of the substance. It means that we can use it to find the density of an object with respect to another object. Okay, as a reference. Next is the lactometers. So the lactometers is a device that we use to identify the purity of a milk. These meters are used by the food safety, basically food safety officers, and basically also by some companies that basically works with dairy products. So lactometers are basically based on the Archimedes principle as well. Okay. Next is the Archimedes principle is used in designing the ship and submarines. So this is also a application of the Archimedes principle in the real life. Okay. Next is why objects float or sink. The reason is that first is basically when the object is put in a liquid, then two forces acting on it. First is weight of the object acting downwards, okay, and buoyant force will be acting upwards. So in that case, when the boat is floating, sorry, okay, an object will float in the liquid if the weight of the object is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. It means that if both the object and the liquid displaced are equal, so then it will float. And the object will, when a boat is floating, the weight of the water displaced by the submerged part of the boat is equal to the weight of the boat. So the whatever the weight is, basically the weight is removed from the water, or the water is removed from that source of water, so it is equal to nothing but the weight of the boat. Okay. An object will float if its density is less than that of liquid. So object will float if the density is less than that of liquid, and if the object will also float if the density is equal to that of liquid. So both in less than or equal to case, object will float. But if the density exceeds the density, if the density of the object exceeds the density of the liquid, then it will sink. Clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Next is if the a ship made up of iron and steel floats in water because its average density is less than that of water due to the presence of lot of airspace in it. So that's why you must have seen that the submarines, the ships looks very huge, very massive, but they are hollow, completely hollow from inside. Only the outer thing is made up with the metal. Okay, but inside it is completely hollow. Either it is ship or submarine. So the average, if we calculate the average density, that is mass by volume, it comes out to be less than that of water. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Any doubt so far to anyone? Please do let me know.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Sure, okay. So this is all about the gravitation. So now let's start the assignment time. Okay. So these are the okay. Just a second. These are 1 to 4. Let me know the answer.
Sure, done.
Let me know in the chat.
Okay, sir.
Answer me in a single message, okay? Everyone do answer me in a single message. Okay, yeah. Everyone do it fast. Anam, Raya, Anam, Afreen, Sara, Bharti. Okay, Sara. Yeah. Afreen, it's 111. Please check. इतना तो टफ क्वेश्चन नहीं है ये को जिसमें आपको इतना टाइम लग रहा है। आई एम नॉट गेटिंग एनी आंसर फ्रॉम अनम। भारती ने भी आंसर नहीं किया। व्हाट हैपेंड?
It's
सारा?
showing that you're not a participant in the meeting anymore, and that's why I can't send my answers.
ओके। भारती? These questions are very basic questions and we have already done these questions. First option would be B. Second would be B because the mass of the man is not gonna change, but the weight would change at the center. That would be zero weightlessness. Man throws a ball. Okay. So it would be man throws a ball. So what kind of force will accelerate the ball downwards? That is positive gravity. Okay. Which of the following would happen if Earth's mass increased, but its radius stayed the same? Square. So this G is gonna change. So if you increase the mass, the radius is the gravitation is gonna change. That is B. Okay. Solve the fifth questions. Fifth, six, seven. Let me know the answer. Only one answer so far. What about rest of the questions? Assertion, reason? No answer by Rayan, no answer by Bharti, Sara. It seems like yes. क्या हुआ? क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ
So
में आ
only
रहे?
one is left.
ठीक है.
वो कल पता नहीं, मुझे तो पता भी नहीं करूँगा शायद वो मैम चाय दो गाली की हमने दिए है वो हमने वो तो कभी बोलो मैंने तो तुम्हारा ऑपरेशन हमने नहीं किया। हाँ बाप रे ना मेरे दो ही बच्चे हैं मेरे तो मैं कहाँ जाऊंगी ये मेरे दो ही बच्चे हैं बारह को दो मेरे दो ही बच्चे हैं ये तो सोच मैं कहाँ जाऊंगी
ओके. भारती.
मतलब वो इतनी सी बात पे भी वो तो कुछ भी नहीं, अगर उसके कुछ लगा भी होता तो निशान.
Any answer from anyone? Sara? Sara?
Yes, sir.
Answer?
ये लोग हो गए वजह से कयामत में दिखी साथ में ज्यादा होता है.
देखो. आंसर. ठीक है.
So I don't know the fifth one.
ठीक है. देखो फिफ्थ का आंसर होगा सी. Because the weight, the upthrust is 1/6 of the weight. It means that the remaining weight would be W minus W by 6. That is 5/6W. Okay? So that's why it is the C option. Now let's talk about the sixth question. The question is saying the acceleration of a free falling body, heavier body, will be greater than the lighter body. That is completely false because G does not depend on the mass of the body that on which it is acting. It is only dependent on the mass of the Earth or the planetary body. The gravitational force exists on heavier force exerted on heavier bodies equal to the always equal to the lighter bodies because gravitational does not depend on the mass of the object. The gravitational force exerted is always equal to the lighter body. Okay, because gravitational acceleration, yeah, reason is right, but assertion is false. So it means that it would be D option. Because in the D option, assertion is false, but reason is true. Clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
At center, the body has no center of gravity. G is 0 equals to at the center of Earth. Yeah, it's right. So it is A. The reason is that, so at center of Earth, the G is equals to 0. There is no gravity. So hence center of gravity will be 0. So because the reason is already given to you, that is G is equals to 0. Okay. A bucket feels heavy. Just a second. Yeah, pen ko kya hua? Just a second. Hmm. So a bucket of water feels heavier when taken out of the water. Yes, that is right. A point force acts on the bucket inside the water, which reduces its weight. Yeah, so this is right because when the bucket is inside the water, it upthrust is acting on it. But once the bucket is basically taken out from the water, so there will be no bind force. Okay, so that's why it will feel heavier. So that is A. Clear, all of you?
Yes,
Next is
sir.
the buoyant force acting on a small body. object is negligible. When the body is completely submerged in water, the buoyant force is 0. Is it 0 when the body is completely submerged?
No.
Hello? I'm asking from all of you, Bolo. So it would be maximum. 0 nahi hoga wo. So assertion is right. Reason is false because buoyant force acting on the small body is almost negligible. Yes, we know this thing.
Yes, sir.
So that is C. The weight of an object is the force that pulls it towards the center of Earth. The weight of an object is same at all points on Earth. This is false, obviously. Weight is not same. G is a scalar quantity. The value of G is a constant. Do let me know, is G a scalar quantity? So G is a scalar quantity. So the value of G is constant. Yeah. So this is option B. The reason is that it is just a number. Okay, if it's just a number, that means it is dependent on the magnitude and hence it is constant throughout the universe. So that's why it would be uh, like universal thing. Clear all of you?
Yes, sir.
चलो 12th क्वेश्चन करो जरा. ऑप्शन सी तक 12th क्वेश्चन है. पैरा पढ़ो. ये केस स्टडी टाइप क्वेश्चन है. ठीक है. तो लेट मी नो द आंसर. Okay, afraid. ये सॉल्व करे तो बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन है, इसको तो पैरा को भी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। सारी चीज आपकी कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चंस की है। ये सब वो वैल्यूज हैं क्वेश्चंस में जो आप ऑलरेडी जानते हैं। There is no need to calculate anything in this question. It's just for basically tricking the student. इतना टाइम नहीं लगना चाहिए इन 3 क्वेश्चंस में। Only one answer so far. No answer from Rayyan, Bharti, Sara. No answer.
Sir, I did.
अच्छा, you read? Let me check. अच्छा अच्छा, हाँ रैयान, सॉरी मैंने देखा नहीं, वो आपका ऊपर चले गया था ना चैट में। सारा, समझ नहीं आ रहा है क्या? अनम, आप प्लीज बेटा कुछ करो इस चीज का, वरना तो बहुत ज्यादा इशू होगा, वरना क्लास में से कैसे चलेगा आपका?
I've
अगर
tried
आप
the learn.
मतलब कुछ
Uninstall
डिवाइस
किया
चेंज
है
किया
अभी।
आपने अनम? डिवाइस चेंज किया
ये सर ये दूसरे डिवाइस पे है।
और मतलब अनइंस्टॉल करके दोबारा रीइंस्टॉल किया था?
यस सर, बट आई थिंक इट्स अ जीमेल रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम मे बी, तो मैं अकाउंट चेंज करके देख लूंगी।
ऐसा तो बहुत मतलब फर्स्ट टाइम मैं लाइक इतना लंबा ग्लिच मैं भी। चलो देख लेना एक दफा, जीमेल चेंज कर लेना या फिर समवॉट जो भी आप देखो, जिसको चेक करो, क्योंकि ऐसे क्लास में आप रिस्पॉन्स मतलब आपकी तरफ से आंसर नहीं आएगा, सो दैट वुड बी लिटिल बिट लाइक आप एलियनेट हो जाओगे, लाइक मार्जिनलाइज टाइप से। तो आई डोंट वांट दैट एट ऑल, ठीक है? तो ट्राई टू चेक, ठीक है?
यस सर।
ठीक है, गुड। चलो ठीक है, नहीं तो ओनली आंसर सो फार। अनम, आप आंसर बताओ, चलो आप ओरली बता दो मुझे, आपने सॉल्व तो कर लिया होगा। अनम,
यस
are you
सर।
there? हाँ, let me know the answers orally.
ओके
Correct
सर।
options, हाँ।
For the first one,
हम्म
I've done it 10 newtons,
okay.
and for the next one,
हम्म
it's
Just
10
do let me,
kg.
ठीक है।
I took G as 10 meter per second square for the
हम्म
first one. That's
हम्म
okay.
हाँ बेसिकली देखो, अगर इस टाइप के अगर आपके 2 आंसर्स होते हैं तो इसमें प्रेफर करते हैं हम लोग 9.8 वाला, बिकॉज हम जो है ना ज़्यादातर जो अगर हम जो द कंट्रीज इन विच वी लिव, एंड नॉर्मली हमें पता है कि आप लाइक ऑल द थिंग्स आर मतलब ज़्यादातर कंट्रीज जब आप जो हैबिचुअल लैंड है, सो हैबिटेबल लैंड है, वो जो है ना बेसिकली आपका इक्वेटर के पास है, तो इसलिए हम ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं 9.8 एज कम्पेयर टू पोल्स वाला। पोल्स इज एट लाइक वो बहुत ज्यादा बिल्कुल ऑलमोस्ट ओशन की तरफ जाके होता है, जैसे कि अंटार्कटिक हो गया या आपका आर्टिक आर्कटिक ओशन वगैरह, दैट दोज पॉइंट्स बेसिकली हैव द 10 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर। तो जो आपका हैबिटेबल रेंज होती है दैट इज अराउंड द इक्वेटर, ठीक है? सो इसको हम 9.8 कंसिडर करते हैं, ठीक है ना? इज दैट क्लियर ऑल ऑफ यू?
Yes, sir.
ठीक। हाँ, जब भी आप अगर आपके क्वेश्चन में नहीं गिवन है आप ले सकते हैं, बट द रीजन इज दैट हम लोग जो द प्लेस बेसिकली जो हमारा एरिया लैंड है दैट इज अराउंड द इक्वेटर। आपने देखा होगा ना ज्यादातर जो हैबिटेबल लैंड्स हैं जो कंट्रीज हैं वो अराउंड द इक्वेटर में हमारा ज्यादा डेंस पॉपुलेशन है, ठीक है? सो दैट्स व्हाई। बाकी सेकंड वाला इज राइट, दैट इज कितना 98 10 केजी हो जाएगा, ये रहा ऑप्शन ए। थर्ड वन बताओ। थर्ड वन वुड बी both A and B, because the gravitation force causes tides as well as motion of moon, force of gravity. Second is D1, I'm telling you D1.
A is
Uh,
2
the,
and R
हाँ
is 1.
हाँ, A is 2, R is fall, because Earth does not move towards the ball. Next is SI unit of upthrust. Upthrust क्या होता है? Is nothing but the weight, basically